Each year, the city of Chicago receives upwards of 68,000 calls from the general public relating to animals. Everything from stray, injured, and unwanted animals to bites and wildlife sightings. These calls are then routed to a dispatch office where one of the city's 28 animal control officers are sent to respond.
When you have that marriage of people with their dogs and cats and exotic animals, and then you have all these people living in close proximity to one another, you're going to have potentially problems. And who deals with them? Animal care and control. And the first line of defense is the animal control officer on the street. It's a very, very large job that is done by a very, very small group of dedicated people.
Tim Allen has been an animal control officer with the city of Chicago for 18 years. In his time on the job, he's picked up thousands of stray and unwanted dogs and cats. He's dealt with dog fighting and other issues of animal abuse. He's corralled deer, coyotes, bats, and other wildlife. In short, when it comes to animals in the city of Chicago, Tim's seen it all.
We're not a big department, but what we do is important out here. It ain't all, peaches and cream, because sometimes it can be physically draining and mentally overwhelming, depending on your mood that day.
The job calls for Tim and his colleagues to time and again put themselves in harm's way. Danger is constantly in the air when you're an animal control officer, and the unpredictable nature of the job often forces them to, quite literally, be the only thing standing between us and an erratic, scared, and sometimes vicious animal.
Your heart is pumping, and your first thought is you don't want to get hurt, and you don't want, that's it really, you don't want to get hurt. So you try to do everything, if not step by step, try to do everything the easy way first before you do it the hard way, because it's always another way. That's what I've learned on this job, it's always another way. You might not be able to see it immediately, but sometimes that's why you have to step back and think about it, as opposed to sometimes just rushing in and that's all that blew up on you,
Most of the requests that come into animal care and control do so through the city's 311 center. Citizens call with issues or inquiries which are immediately routed to a dispatcher who relays the information to an officer in the field. The calls are dispatched based on the nature of their severity, with the more serious calls taking priority. In addition to citizen requests, officers are also dispatched to support other city and county departments. So far this year, animal control officers have responded to over 450 calls to assist in this capacity. Most have been with the Chicago Police Department.
The guy who owns the property noticed, I guess this is his van. It's been sitting out here since Saturday, but they hadn't seen him. So I guess they went down and knocked on the door, they smelled something bad, and they called the police. Upon entering, they found the body was already decomposing, but he had like 16 chickens and roosters, and that's what I'm here for. So it'd be like that sometime, I'm gonna take them down to the facility, and they're gonna do what they do with them, maybe give them to a farm, depending on the health of them. If they, depending on the health, maybe they give them to some farm. So that'll be up to the veterinarians, though, what happens after this.
As strange and unsettling as many of these situations may appear, they're simply part of the job of being an animal care and control officer. These officers never know what they'll be getting into from day to day. The only thing they can expect is the unexpected.
Go ahead, dispatch.
I have an address. It's 2013 North Sheffield. 2013 North Sheffield. The garbage truck has a skunk in the back, so they can't continue on working with the thing in there. They want to crush it up.
They had a skunk in the back of the garbage truck, and I had to remove it. He sprayed a little bit, but that comes with the territory. I gotta get tomato juice later if it smells too bad. Really, I've smelled worse. You know, don't smell that bad, not to me. But they work with garbage all the time, so. And that's the end of that one. So.
Okay, the complaint is that it's a dog that's been left tied up in the alley.
Being on the front line in the city's ongoing efforts to deal with these issues often puts the animal control officers in direct contact with another group who can be just as unpredictable and temperamental as the animals they're trying to help, the citizens of Chicago.
Someone call animal control? Oh, you still need our service?
Being thrust into situations where more times than not they have very little information to work with, being diplomatic and patient is the best and easiest way for officers to gain the trust of the individuals involved. In order to ascertain those details, however, they often have to be more than just an animal control officer.
Sometimes you have to be a psychologist, sometimes you have to be the bad guy, sometimes you have to be the good guy, sometimes you have to be, you know, the sensitive guy. Sometimes, you know, you gotta be able to, you gotta be a detective. All right, ¿qué pasó, amigos? No, okay, Pedro? A lot of it's like more investigative because we're not gonna have a owner's name and we're not gonna have like who called. So you gotta kind of try to feel it out. You can't go to them too aggressive. You're gonna get no info.
No matter how different they may be, with the exception of incidents involving wildlife, all these situations always appear to have one thing in common. The problems facing animal control aren't actually the animals, it's the people who own them.
I always tell people you can't blame the animal control system, you gotta blame the irresponsible pet owners who let them dogs loose and don't take care of them, you know.
We feel that when you are a pet owner, you have a responsibility, and that responsibility is to that animal for the life of the animal.
In general, the issues facing animal control couldn't be more pointless, more heartbreaking, or more solvable. And the solution seems rather easy.
I think if more people are educated, I think really that's probably the #1 problem, really, you know, non-education. People just think of pets, love, you know, all the kids can play with them, but it's more to it than that. You know, they have to be trained and, you know, disciplined, and it's, you know, it's more. A lot of people just see them as pets, really. And then when they can't handle them no more, that's when they, you know, either call us or they'll toss them, you know, or set them free.
To that end, Animal Control believes in saving, returning, and adopting out as many of these animals as possible. It's a daunting task, but one they're up for. They urge anyone who has lost a pet or is looking to adopt one to visit their facility located at 2741 Southwestern Avenue, or to check out their website to see if an animal looking for an owner or a new home may be waiting there for them. And for those with pets already at home, Animal Care and Control has one simple suggestion to safeguard your animal.
Microchip or have some identification on your animal, because we can return more animals to people if we know where they came from.
They also advocate that all owners have their pets spayed or neutered in order to help curb the overpopulation problem. And if you can no longer take care of a pet and need to find it a new home, don't just let it out to fend for itself.
I don't understand why people, like, why would you just, I know people say they love their animal, but why would you just throw it, like just put it out the house or take it miles away? To me, at least if it's always been a pet, it's not gonna have a chance when you put it back in the wild if you done had it a couple of years, 2, 3, 4, 5 years. So why wouldn't you turn it over to us? And it might have a chance of survival, because I guarantee you if it was a house pet, it's not gonna be able to fend for itself.
We advocate good, responsible pet ownership, but we also say that there are resources out there that can help you achieve those things if you can't get the information or don't know it. There are people out there who want to help you to be good, responsible pet owners.